thank you for joining today. Can you start by telling us your name and what you do?
So essentially, I am Dylan Williams, and I'm a coach helping people to find their true purpose.
And how did you get started in coaching?
So essentially, around it's December now for context, but in January, February, I just really got to a point in my life where I was just like, I have no idea on what I want to do, but all I know is I want to do something useful to as well as help me, helps other people as well in the process. And yeah, that's pretty much coaching was on the back of my mind, but it was never something I saw myself jumping into because I wasn't in a great place at the time. But yeah, pretty much why I do coaching and stuff now is essentially just to help people, and it's help people where I was at the start of the year, because definitely just wanting that relatability. And it's so much easier when you can help people who have gone through your process, if you will, or have a similar backstory to you, and it's they're the people you can help most because you understand exactly where they've been. Yeah.
So what kind of stuff have you gotten to do in order to become a coach? Have you done courses?
Heaps. So essentially in April I did Tony Robbins' Day with Destiny, and that completely changed my life in every single aspect. That's where I got the courage to actually start my own business and pretty much have an idea of what I wanted to do in the coaching space. I've done that. I've had 2 business coaches, as well as doing 2 online courses, Health Coach Institute, and worked with Brody Lee, Luke Hawkins, done NLP seminars, learning how I'm actually going to coach people, as well, to get the best outcome as quickly and as efficiently as I can. I think doing no personal development till the start of this year to spending over 40,000 on personal development, just able to pretty much gain all the knowledge and skills I need to actually pull this off how I want to, is definitely been a long process, but that's pretty much how I got started.
Now, I've seen a few of your videos online, and you've recently did the NLP course, and one thing that you mentioned is you were a bit skeptic going into it. Can you explain why? So
the skepticism around it is definitely a lot to do with, for me, I've always been someone who's been programmed to think change takes a lot of time. You obviously no change happens overnight, but going through all this NLP stuff, realizing that you can actually release traumas, whatever it may be, literally within a day, it's just completely just I was very skeptic on it, as you said, and just until I actually did it, and until someone released all my traumas, and I was able to release that for other people, doing it made me believe it. But beforehand I was very, very skeptic on not really thinking that it would happen, or it's all just positive thinking or something along those lines, as in 2 out of maybe 100 people had a success story, but you hear about the 2 who had a good experience, but realizing that it's actually a process. It's not luck or just goodwill or something. There's an actual process to do, and when you do the process, it works. And pretty much as long as you're completely honest with yourself, then you're able to release or get over anything that you once had in your way, really.
So you went through a breakthrough session at the NLP.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through with that?
So the breakthrough was around 8 hours, going from everything from finding your root cause problem. For me, I always had this chatter in the back of my head that whenever I'd go to do something, I'd have that feeling of not being good enough, or not feeling I was capable of helping someone, because I'm still where I was a year ago, and I was always judging myself on what I was in the past, and never allowed myself to just completely become become my new person, if you will. So basically one of the first steps you do is probably the hardest one for everyone, literally just writing down all the significant times in your life where you haven't felt good enough, and then just associating all anger, fear, hurt, guilt, and sadness to all the emotion, all the events that have happened in your past, So yeah, the first three and a half hours is literally just like mapping out like all the times where you haven't felt good enough, and then mapping out your values, from like where you are now. And yeah, the second half is where like all the transformation stuff happens. So it's more like you do, like timeline therapy, and just like being able to like release all traumas and like hurt and all these like anger and like everything on your past. And like, obviously, like as we just said, like I was very skeptical of it when someone said you can do this all within a day. I was very like, no, you can't. But like literally just being honest with myself and like going through the process. Like, pretty much like you, through like NLP and stuff, you're able to like map out your new values, and you can essentially just design them any way you want. And using like NLP techniques, using like the subconscious mind to able to just say, for example, like my old value was I needed to be in alignment with like everything I did, and that was just like I needed to be comfortable, just like everything was like how I wanted it to be. But like going through the breakthrough process, taking immediate action is like my first value in terms of like career, and just like I just need to do it. like literally with the breakthrough example, like just doing it is what made me like be able to achieve it. It wasn't like positive thinking. It's like, oh, not this will work. Like I was skeptical on if it will work, and it still did. Like I just had to do it. Like at the end of the day, like that's really kind of just what it was about. And then you do like goal setting and like a bunch of other things. But at the end of the day, like I just felt so like there was like kind of like a mixed reactions with like a lot of the people who did it. Like some were just like absolutely like over the moon and just like excited, jumping around. I literally just like felt like a genuine weight off my shoulders, and I was just kind of very peaceful and just like very calm about the whole thing. Like there wasn't anything holding me back anymore. It's just like I'm free to do whatever I want to do, and it was just a very peaceful experience for me. But I suppose like that is a general summary of like what the breakthrough experience was really like. It was very, very full on, but time went so quickly. Like I know, when I was on the coaching side of things as well, like it was 7.5 hours, but it felt like 5. Like it was just very, like you're just going through a process, like, and using all the things I've learned throughout the NLP seminars and whatnot. So it pretty much trust the process and it'll work. Even if you don't trust the process, like just do the process and it'll still work. Like that's pretty much what I learned. So I suppose that's a general summary of the breakthrough. Yeah.
Wow. So you feel like by going through that breakthrough session, it's made a difference between not only yourself, but going with clients as well?
Oh, yeah, like, absolutely. Like, I was very, obviously, like, back of the mind child, like, going back to it, thinking, like, I'm not good enough, whatever it may be. I'd message, like, 5-10 people a week around, like, it wasn't necessarily even coaching, it was just, like, getting to know people more, like, getting to know, like, who my ideal client would be, like, all that sort of stuff. 5 to 10 a week, and, like, literally within the first week, coming back from NLP, I messaged, like, 180 people. Just like, because taking immediate action is my new value. So it's just like I just want to do it. There's no negative pull towards anything. It's just like something that I genuinely just want to go out there and do. Pretty much like it's just the breakthrough's like completely changed. Even though you don't necessarily like, not everything I do has been like, oh, that's because of the breakthrough, for example. You just genuinely feel like you're a new person. Yeah, so it's pretty much just like revolutionary for me. Yeah.
And because you've mentioned it, what is your ideal client, or who is your ideal client?
So my ideal client is just people who like just feel like stuck, kind of just they don't really have that excitement, or like they don't know what career they want to go into. Pretty much anywhere who like we're definitely like all felt like that at a time where you're just completely just like you don't know how to fix something, but you just know something needs to change, like. It's very much in that not knowing stage of just like having no idea how to change. That's like where I feel like I best step in and just like give people new perspectives, like obviously go through like a lot of this NLP stuff, like breakthroughs, like whatever it may be, like because obviously if like something needs to change, like something needs to change. So it's essentially just like understanding that you're not going to change if you do the exact same things you did like before, like and it's hard when you're someone who just like wants to change but has no idea how. You don't know how to do anything different because like you know, if you knew how to do something different, you would have. So it's essentially just like, yeah, that's where I step in and really like help give people like new perspectives and like new like, you know, typical mindsets, like whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's pretty much like who I really want to help the most.
And in relation to that, if someone is listening and they do feel stuck, what advice would you give them?
Like, there's always like every single person, like me included, there's things that like we've always wanted to do, but like we've never done it for a certain reason. You might have been like too scared, or you didn't think it was the right thing. Like, literally just go out there and try new things. Like, you don't know if you have no idea what you want to do, or like you just feel stuck. Like, you have to do something different. Like, it's pretty much like, that's very black and white, but like it's very just like, and like I understand it's very daunting as well. Like, you know, you might not know what you want to do different, but you know, there's always been things like, I always ask people, you know, what's one thing from usually going back to childhood, like what's one thing you love doing throughout your childhood? Like, you know, what's something that you've stopped doing that you used to love, but you know, you just didn't find the time for it, or like you just like dropped down your priorities, like whatever it may be. It's like getting to do something like new and exciting. Like, it's essentially like, once you find that excitement for something, you're going to want to continue to do it, and like that's going to naturally make you feel so much more unstuck. Like, literally doing two different things. Like, just say for me, like I'm getting back into tennis because I stopped that for a while, and it's just like, that's still like 2 days a week I'm doing something completely new. That's like yeah, 2/7 of a week, like I'm doing something different and exciting. And it's just like one simple change. So yeah, just pretty much like go out there and do something new, because that's like the way to get unstuck. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what do you think your unique skill is that has helped you become successful?
That's definitely a good one. I would probably chalk it down to like the ability to not judge myself. As in, like, I fuck up. Like, I know that, like, not everything I do is perfect, and not everything I have to do is perfect. Like, you know, I obviously, like, I know I'm a very, like, logical person, and, you know, like, I've always, like, had this thought in the back of my mind. It's like, if all I'm doing, like, in my business and coaching people, helping people, if all that broke through, like, worst case, I'd move back in with my parents and get another job like I was at the start of the year. Like, worst case, I'm just back where I was at the start of the year. Like, for me, like, as soon as I figured out that, it was just like logically, there's no harm in not trying. Like, you know, you're always like, as in, what is it? As in, like, failure weighs a bit, but regret weighs a ton. Like, you can't just like sit back and kind of hope things will get better. So yeah, I definitely think my ability to not judge myself and just be okay with whatever it may be, like whether it's success, failure, like whatever comes my way, I know I'm trying. So yeah, the ability to not judge myself, I feel like, is my biggest strength. Yeah.
So who are 3 people who have been the most influential to you?
Ooh, that's good. Tony Robbins for one. Like, Date with Destiny was like, if I could literally like point it back to the dates where like my life changed, like for a very long amount of time. I love Gary Vee, as you know, I've said before, very just like, I love like the directness, and like, you know, growing up in like the footy atmosphere, it's very just like, do this, like ABC, like there's still part of me just like loves that, like, you know, just taking like the thinking and stuff out of it. And you know, probably the third one's tough. I'd probably the most influential would have to be like Luke Hawkins. Like, he's the guy who has taught me NLP and like completely just like rejuvenated my like approach to life, and just like, yeah, giving me endless like new perspectives. And yeah, he's just like, yeah, amazing person. And like having that, like, you know, being able to just like chat with him for like however long, like you're just like, you know, just a person that's like right there, like, and he's obviously doing amazing things himself. So yeah, I'd have to chalk them down to the top 3.
So what are your goals for the future? What are you wanting to happen?
So much. I think definitely next on my list is like creating like an online program rather than just doing like coaching for people, like just to like completely just rejuvenate yourself and find your purpose. Like, I think a lot of people think that purpose, for example, is just like a golden ticket. It's one thing you're going to do for the rest of your life, but it's like, you can't just go from doing nothing to like having everything perfect. like your purpose is going to change. Like not, I'm sure like, you know, your purpose from when you were 18 is very different to where you are now. Like it changes constantly. It's it's like how to like I feel like what a lot of people don't understand is like purpose is essentially just like living to fulfillment. Like it's not necessarily like a goal or something. Like if you just say, you know, my goal is to travel the world, but like having traveled the world, like I'm not just going to be back and be like I'm good, you know. It's like a constant gradual process. But yeah, really I just want to make like an online course and make like a community of people, of like very like-minded people who often feel, you know, stuck, as we were talking about before, and really just like rejuvenating their life and gain the excitement they really need in life. Yeah, that's definitely my big goal for 2020.
That was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
So where can our listeners connect with you online?
Online, mainly just Facebook, Instagram, Dylan Williams, Facebook. It's just literally my face with like a green background, like with some flowers and stuff, like very basic. And Instagram is Dylan Williams Coaching. They're the main two platforms I'm on. I'm going to spread out eventually, but yeah, go into like YouTube and whatnot as well. But you know,
Yep.
yeah, for now I haven't started that just yet. But
Okay.
yeah, I should get some more 2020 goals.
Exactly. That's amazing. And I'll definitely link those into the video as
Awesome.
well.
Yeah.
That's really great. Thank you so much for
Thanks for having me.
coming and doing this in person. It's
Yeah.
it's been really great. So thank you so much.
Anytime at all.